All right, so today is Monday, the 16th of June, 2025. It looks like this month actually is a very fast one. Morning, Madam Manaji and Grace. So let's check out the fundamentals. There are a lot of fundamental activities in the market this week. Today, Monday, we have just one event, and that's the Empire State Manufacturing Index. It's a medium impact event. We really don't expect much volatility on it, but then we just watch out by 1:30 p.m. and see how the market will react. Tomorrow, Tuesday, from Japan, we have BOJ policy rate, monetary policy statement, and BOJ press conference. It's still tentative, meaning a specific time is yet to be allotted to this event. But if it gets allocated and the data is released, there's likelihood of volatility because we're looking at policy rate statement here, which could move the market. And that's actually like one of the major events for tomorrow. The other major event for tomorrow, Tuesday, is a core retail sales and retail sales from the United States by 1:30 p.m. That's the main one we may look forward to trading because the BOJ event will happen in the night. We're in Nigerian time here, where many of us may be sleeping. But we can look forward to trading the core retail sales and the retail sales by 1:30 p.m. tomorrow. On Wednesday, the key event on Wednesday, first we have the CPI yearly from the United Kingdom, which will take place by 7 a.m. in the morning. And by 1:30 p.m., there'll be unemployment claims. This will also move the market. And later on that Wednesday, there'll be a major one again by 7 p.m. And that's the federal funds rate, FOMC economic projections, and FOMC statements. 7:30 p.m. there'll be FOMC press conference. Now, FOMC stands for Federal Open Market Committee. That's the committee rather that determines interest rates in the United States. So Wednesday is going to be a big day, especially by 7 p.m. in the evening. Yeah, the other ones I mentioned will move the market in the morning. That's the CPI from UK and the unemployment claims from US by 1:30. But the biggest for the day is actually the FOMC by 7 p.m. in the night. So let's watch out for it. Then on Thursday, there'll be employment change and unemployment rate by 2:30 a.m. from Australia. This will move the market, but unfortunately, it will be nighttime in Nigeria, except you want to, wake up early or you stay late to trade it. It will really move the market. Then other important events for Thursday will be monetary policy summary and the MPC official bank rate votes and official bank rates from the United Kingdom by 12 p.m. on Wednesday. So we expect volatility on the GBP by 12 p.m. on. Okay, that will be 12 p.m. on Thursday. Pardon me. Is it Thursday? Yes, Thursday. That will be Thursday. And finally, on Friday, the key event on Friday will be the retail sales from UK by 7 a.m. So let's take note of all these events as I mentioned them. These are the ones I mentioned are the key ones that will likely move the market and give enough volatility for us to trade. So we're trading them independently. We're not having a live trading session this week. But as usual, we'll guide you on how to go about trading these events. All right, so I'll switch over to the chart now. Let's look at what the market is saying from the technical angle. All right, so the dollar currently is trading around, that's the dollar index, it's trading around the support level on the weekly time frame. Though, to be honest, it's actually almost at the verge of really breaking out, but then we cannot ignore the fact that the tip still is touching this area. You can see the tip of this previous candle, and where the body ends, here on the last candle, they are still on that level. So let's still watch out this week for the possibility of a reversal. Though if price breaks above this low, we may have a further bearish movement. But let's just still hold on to that possibility of a reversal in the market, except market condition changes. So in line with that, if you check the USD this is still giving us something a little bit clearer. The USD is trading at the support level. This is clear-cut support level on the daily time frame. And this is it here. We have a valid support zone. Our last Friday closed as a rejection candle, like a kind of a doji. And we expect the possibility of a bullish movement this week. Now, if that bullish movement happens, then we will end up having a double bottom pattern here, which will be a further confirmation of a bullish movement on the dollar. Now, we'll take it down to the 4-hour time frame. And on the 4-hour, we can draw a trend line and a second trend line to form a falling wedge pattern. Price is expected to break out, at least to test this trend line. If we are bullish on the dollar, that is established. But then if price hit this trend line, two things could happen, because that region is a sensitive one. It's in line with the previous, support. So we may see some reaction at that point. Price could either break out depending on the level of volatility or drop from this region. But either ways at the moment, we have a bullish outlook. Let's even see price go up first. Then when it gets to that confluence point, we'll know the next thing, that will happen to the dollar. So we're bullish on the USD And conversely, we are bearish on the Euro USD. When Euro USD is sharing a similar sentiment with what we saw on the dollar index, it's actually at the tip of a region where we are just contemplating between a bullish and a bearish breakout. But I think I'm seeing some little clarity around the USD that can give us a possible bearish movement, and that is a previous support here. Price is trading, or price rather hit a previous support here, and we'll have the resistance here. Even there's still a slight resistance region there, so technically we're looking for the bearish movement on the Euro USD, except if market condition changes. So take it down to 4-hour time frame, and this is what we can see. So we can see we have a rising wedge, and we'll be anticipating a bearish breakout on Euro USD in the course of the week. So for emphasis again, we're bullish on the USD we're bearish on the Euro USD. Now, which one should we take out of the two? For me, whichever one breaks out first, or the one that ends up showing the clearer level of probability above the other, is what we'll trade. So we're bullish on Euro USD we're bearish on the Euro USD. Now, USD CAD is another pair I'll be putting my attention on this week for a bullish movement, just like what we saw on the dollar. Please kindly mute your devices as you join this session. For the USD CAD, price is trading on a key level, a previous support, resistance. Now price is back again to that level as a support. So that's a key level. Price has returned to support and resistance multiple times. And secondly, that same level also is a confluence point where we have price making higher lows, on this trend line. You can see higher low, higher low, higher low, and price is back again to that level. So technically, we're looking for a reversal on the USD CAD. So on the 4 hour time frame, we have a falling wedge. And we'll be anticipating the breakouts. So how do we trade this? Uh, as usual, our final confirmation will be our RSI clearly above 50. That's very, very essential. And we'll also look for a break above this region, that support or resistance level. So if price is able to break out above this region with your RSI above 50, yes, we can trigger a buy on the USD card. So we're bullish on the USD card. Now, since the dollar looks, at least we can establish from both USD CHF and USD card, we have a bullish outlook on the dollar. Question is what happens to gold? Now, last week, due to geopolitical tension between uh, Israel and Iraq, we saw some movement in the market which actually affected more of crude oil. But then we don't know yet. There's still a threat of attack. We don't know if it's going to happen or not, or there'll be intervention from international organizations. But currently, gold is trading around the resistance level on the daily time frame. But I will advise to trade gold with a lot of caution because you don't know if the attack is still going to take place or when it's going to take place. So if you are trading gold this period, please trade with your two eyes closed. Oh, one eye closed. One eye closed. Because if any attack happens, there's a likelihood that gold will go up. Because what usually happens when you have such kind of different events is that investors will pull their assets, their investment rather, into gold. They take it out of other assets and put it into gold. So gold usually buys if you have a war. We'll just see a sharp bullish movement. So now that we're looking at a possible bearish movement, just take note that it's a temporal one. We can only do that pending the time, pending if there's going to be any change in the market. So let's still hold on to what we're seeing technically, while at the back of our mind, we are ready for any eventuality. Let me put it that way. So gold is trading within this rising wedge pattern, is approaching the trend line, here, and we still equally have a support over there. So we're going to be looking for at trading gold if price breaks out below this support level, this minor support level. Now it's possible that price, touches that support level and the trend line. Now this region now becomes a confluence. We might see a bounce up before a drop. It will try to form a shoulder, a head, a second shoulder before it drops. It's a 50-50 thing. It may happen, it may not happen. But what is most important is that if price breaks out below this support zone, then we'll see a bearish movement on gold. Currently, RSI is below 50, showing you that it's preparing for a bearish movement. But then it's not yet certain until price may go up, retest this trend line and drop, or it may drop outrightly. So watch gold closely in the course of today and even this week. All right, so those are the major instruments that I'm analyzing for us at the moment. There are some other ones which I am trying to look for clarity before I give my outlook on them. But for BTC, BTC is, if you are to trade BTC, I will advise to trade with a lot of caution because of the volatility. But it's actually in a bullish zone as we speak. And reason why it's in a bullish zone is that we have a previous support zone here. On the daily time frame, we can see the uptrend price is bouncing higher, making higher lows, higher highs and higher lows. Apologies. So we're seeing some higher lows here, higher low, and we have the rejection candle touching the same line last week, which is giving us the outlook of a bullish movement again. And on the 4 hour, we have a previous support price touching the support. Now a tip of the rejection candle touched it here. and is giving us like an inverse head and shoulder, a double bottom, and price has broken above, that that neckline region. So we may see a further bullish movement on BTC in the course of today's immobile zone. But like I said, trade with a lot of caution because it's an extremely volatile, financial asset. RSI is already below 50, but D is approaching zero. If this continues this way, price target the next resistance level, which is this region here. So I'm bullish on BTC. Trade with caution. Use proper risk management. All right, I think that'll be all from my end this morning. So this morning, as a recap, I've analyzed the dollar. I said I'm bullish on the dollar. So I'm bullish on the USD CHF, USD CAD, and I'm bearish on the Euro USD. Then I said I'm bearish on gold tentatively, hoping there will be no tension to push the price of gold up. And finally, I'm bullish on the BTC USD. Now, all these assets I've mentioned, they are all on swing mode. That doesn't mean you cannot trade them on 1 hour. You can trade them 1 hour if you can make entry, with the strategy on the lower time frame. We only give direction of the trend, in this analysis. All right, that'll be all from my end this morning. If you have any question or any instrument you want me to analyze, you can just post them, in the comment section, and I will analyze them for you. Maureen is asking me to check GEP, JPY. Now, like I said, there are some assets I proposing didn't mention because there seems to be some measure of conflict in their outlook generally, and that's specifically the GBP, JPY, the GBP pairs. The GBP, the JPY pairs. Some are looking bullish, some are looking bearish, and that's the reason why I decided to stay out of them for now until we get enough of clarity as to what is happening to them. But then for the GBJPY, okay, you can see now on one angle here, it's bouncing off the trend line. On another angle, it's bouncing off the resistance. So is it buying or selling? It's in between. And that's what I'm seeing around most of the GPY pairs that's, made me decide to stay out of there for now until we can get clarity as to what is happening. Is it going to break out upwards? If it breaks out above, yeah, we're buying. If it breaks out below this trend line, yes, we're selling. So until that happens, we just want to be certain of what's going on with the JPY pairs. EuroCAD, that's Oyelowo. So this is EuroCAD. Okay, let's start from the weekly time frame. Okay, I remember this instrument. I've been watching it for weeks now. On the long term, we're actually anticipating a major bearish breakout, but then it's taking too long for my liking. It's taking too long. You can see price hitting the resistance level there on the monthly time frame with rejection candle in between, which should give the long-term bearish breakout. If we flip down to the weekly, it's giving us a very clear outlook of a head and shoulder pattern, which will lead to a massive drop technically. Like I said, this wait is getting too long. Last week closed as a rejection candle. Okay. Maybe that bearish movement may start this week, so that rejection candle is at the resistance level is an indication of that bearish breakout, with the head and shoulder pattern information. And on the daily, you can clearly see it's actually a shoulder, a head, a second shoulder, and a break, a possible breakout. Let's use that. And also on the daily, we have a reversal candlestick pattern there. You can see the first candle with the long shadow, bullish. The next one is bearish, same size. That's a reversal indication there. So if you take it down to 4 hour, where we are now, this is all I can say about this instrument. If price is able to break out below this level, yeah, it will be time for a massive bearish breakout on the euro card. It's very bearish on the long term, but we are waiting for the actual breakout. It's a swing setup, swing, it's very swing, even swing to like a medium term, long term kind of setup. It's bearish. It's a bearish setup. That's the most important part of it all. So this is the daily time frame. So we are only waiting for price to break out below this trend line. But honestly, if it breaks out, we are getting ready for a massive breakout. That's one thing with swing and position trading. It may require a lot of patience. So it's actually for people that are very patient. If the breakout happens, we might see price move as much as about 250 pips to Fibonacci 50, about 367 pips to Fibonacci 61.8, and about 550 pips to Fibonacci 78.6. It's a big one, but to be honest, it requires a lot of patience. So that person, if you want to trade it, still hold on, keep watching. When the breakout happens, you can trigger your sell downwards. It's the same thing on Euro AUD. Most of the Europeans are just like that, even getting set for a long-term bearish breakout. This is Euro AUD. You can see we have a resistance there on the weekly time frame, and a pattern that looks closely like a head and shoulder forming on this one also, and getting ready for a major breakout. On the daily, you can see it's really getting set for that breakout also, with this region as the neckline. So anytime price breaks out below that neckline region, yes, it gets set for that massive bearish breakout. Now on the 4 hour, it seems to be forming a head and shoulder pattern. It's not looking clear on the 4 hour. Let's go down to 1 hour. Just on a short-term trade, if price breaks out below this neckline region, yes, you may trigger a short-term kind of sell. If price breaks out below that neckline, maybe today, if it breaks out, just ensure that your RSI is clearly below 50. You can trigger a short-term sell on the Euro AUD, but the long term is still bearish, and that's a more of a strong setup. So we're bearish on Euro AUD, both on 1 hour and on 4 hour. You're welcome. Pardon me, I don't know whether you're male or female. You're just welcome. Okay, the Euro AUD is for Madam Onaji. All right. Then GBP USD, Grace. All right. Now, since we hold a bullish outlook on the dollar, like I said, conversely, we're bearish on the Euro USD, and we are equally bearish on the GBP USD. Now, for the GBP USD, let's check our outlook for the weekly and in fact, from the monthly time frame. You can see that price hit a resistance level right here. There's a resistance here. So technically, we're looking at a bearish movement. If you take it down to the weekly, it's still the same resistance, daily resistance, but this time around on the daily, except the structure changes, I'm seeing the head and shoulder here, shoulder edge, second shoulder, and a drop. That's what I'm seeing on the daily. So we are only, waiting for this neckline region to be broken. If that happens in the course of this week, yes, that will trigger a sell-off on the GBP USD. So price is approaching this level, and if it breaks it, we'll see a brief flow downwards. And further confirmation is RSI clearly below 50. So we're bearish on the GBP USD. All right, I think I've attended to all the questions. That's going to be all from our analysis session today. This is actually the outlook for the week. So you're expected to use the essence of this class is to give you the direction to look out for, when trading this asset, especially for the week. So watch out, and I'll drop the link to the video in your respective groups. Make sure you watch the video again so that you can get, insight into the direction of this instrument, as you start the trading week. If you're on the platform, you don't have an account with PU Prime, just go over straight to our website, www.puprime.com, and open a live trading account.
Sorry, sir.
Yes,
Sorry.
ma'am.
And sir, please, what of the NZD group, like Euro NZD, NZD or GBP NZD? Can you help us to highlight that side?
The entire NZD group.
Yes, sir. No, just those two. Just those.
Euro, NZD, and which one?
GBP, USD, NZD. Any one of them.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. The long term also have been bearish. Most of the Europeans on the long term is a bearish outlook on them. This is a resistance on the Euro NZD on the monthly time frame with a rejection candle in the middle, which is to signal a long-term bearish breakout, which has not yet happened. It has not happened. Price even is looking like approaching the resistance again. But then from here we may see a bearish break. So that's the monthly down to the weekly. On the weekly, this is also forming a head and shoulder pattern, shoulder, head, second shoulder, and a breakout. On the daily, like I said, price is approaching that resistance, and it is unable to break it again. So we can go to 1 hour. Now, the major breakout is actually when price, breaks this neckline. This is the neckline region. That's it, when the price breaks out finally below. But at this current resistance on the daily time frame, you can look for a 1 hour break downwards. So let's go down to 1 hour. So sorry, we had a little network break. So I don't know what I said last that you heard, but I'll just do a little recap. So I said that on the daily, there is equally a resistance around this region here. The major break is the head and shoulder downwards. That's the major one. But before that major one happens, there is a possibility of, or let me say, not even a possibility, a very strong likelihood of a reversal on the 1 hour from this region downwards, at least to test this trend line. We may have a bearish movement on the 1 hour, which should be tradable. So fill down to 1 hour. This is where we are at the moment. So let's watch out for Euro NZD closely in the course of today. If price breaks out below this lower trend line, with our RSI clearly below 50, we can trigger a sell on the Euro NZD. So we're bearish on the Euro NZD. And for the GBP NZD, okay, that's taking some. Sorry, the network seems not to be so stable, but we're rounding up. So for the GBP NZD, I'm trying to load the monthly time frame to get a clearer picture, but this is delaying. Okay, we might just have to go ahead with the weekly chart. Monthly chart is not loading. All I know is that there's a major resistance level somewhere around here. I want to see where it's connecting from, but we're back again. We're rounding up now. Okay, I think we should. Oh, good. Okay, we are not having a corresponding resistance. Okay, we're not having a corresponding resistance on the monthly. On the weekly, is there anyone? Let's draw the line. Or better still, let me use the horizontal line to, okay, except for this. Okay, except for this area, we have a resistance on the weekly. There's a resistance on the weekly. All right. So we have a resistance on the weekly time frame. On the daily, yeah, we can see there's been a kind of drop. But when we is the current candle that's actually important here. Let me take it down to the 4-hour time frame and see something. Okay, on the 4-hour, price is trading around, there's a resistance level here on the 4-hour. On the daily, there is also a resistance level up here on the daily. Now, this instrument is looking more bullish. This is an inverse, like an inverse head and shoulder, not too sharp. If price breaks above that 4-hour resistance, it will target the major one up there. Otherwise, we may see a bearish breakout. So I would say at the moment, there's no strong clarity around the GBP NZD. We're not having much clarity around it. On one side, it may break out upwards. On another side, it may break out downwards. But if it breaks out upwards, we may just have a short-term bullish movement on this. And that's the reason because we're having this uptrend here. And like I said, something that is looking like an inverse head and shoulder. We may just have a short-term break, upwards. And today being Monday, with less volatility in the market, we need to just be very cautious around it. So I'm not really too clear on this for now. But there's more clarity, we'll let you know. But for that Euro New Zealand, yes, that one, I think we have a bearish outlook on that one.
Sorry, sir. So is it possible to have two related pairs like this? One will be bearish, the other one will be bullish. Like you have just analyzed these two, sir. Since two of them are New Zealand pairs.
Yes, it's possible. And that's why when such happens, you have to trade with caution. It means something is not really clear in the market about the two instruments. And that's why patience is key. So when we now check, okay, like this one now, on one angle, it is looking bullish. If it's going to go bullish, it will contradict the other one that is bearish. So if that one is looking bearish, well, we may be expecting at least some slight bearish movement on this one too. So if both align, fine. That shows that the overall trend is bearish. But when you're having one bullish, the other bearish, just take a lot of caution until you can establish clarity.
In this case, it will be better to wait until the GBP NZD now turns bearish before you can take a trade.
Yes.
So both of them can go in the same direction.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
I'm grateful. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, that's going to be all for this analysis session. Don't forget to join the 5X group. Reach out to your account manager on how to join that group. It's it's a signal group where the goal is to help you push your account to 5X. And there's been a lot of amazing results in that group. So if you're not in that group, you are missing a lot. Just reach out to your account manager. They'll guide you through on how to be a part of the group. And don't forget our physical training session holds twice this week, Tuesday and Thursday at both the Abuja and Lagos office. The address of the Abuja office is P Prime Africa Walk and Connect Building, 50 Ebitu Okiwe Street, Jabi, Abuja, and the time is 10:30 a.m. on Tuesday and Thursday. While the Lagos office is P Prime Africa Lagos at Agos Executive Business Lounge, 54B Adeniyi Jones Avenue, Ikeja, Lagos. Time for Lagos office training is 11 a.m. both on Tuesday and Thursday. We hope to see you at any of these two locations. The next analysis session today will come by 12:30 p.m. Do try to join so that we can get an understanding of the afternoon session in the market. All right, take care and have a great day ahead. Bye-bye.